Hello, everybody. Coach Marjean here. How are you today? Happy Sunday. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the reading of The Residual Life by Michelle Schaffer. And I truly believe that we will finish this book this month. And I've got some content that I'm going to be putting in the Focus on Facebook group that will be added to the video replays for you, those of you who have not read the book yet, and maybe you don't have the book, which is fine. That's why I'm reading it in the group, is so that you can come into the group or go to YouTube and listen to the book. You know, people love audiobooks, so why not? You know, you can just go ahead and turn the picture off or whatever and listen to the audio part of the reading of the book. But I'm going to be putting some content in Facebook that specifically will help those of you who are building an online business, whether it be a network marketing company. Yes, you know, some people call them an MLM, but that's not necessarily the case, because all that means is that particular opportunity that you're in has a way of paying commissions to multiple people for this one sale. Now, direct sales companies, often they only give you a commission for whatever it is that you're selling, even if you're building a team. So it just depends on the compensation plan that your company has that you're in. Now, if you're just a service provider, you're a coach, you still need to learn the skill of connecting with the audience, talking to the audience, building those relationships. And that's what I'm here for, is to help you to learn how to build a relationship that you need to build between that cold prospect, even the warm prospects, and continuing that relationship with your existing customers so that you can continue to grow your business, have sales coming in and money going into your bank account through all of the efforts that you put forth on a weekly or daily basis, depending if you're full-time or if you're doing your business, just as a way to get an extra $200 or $500 a month into your household. That's, a lot of people do that. A lot of people just find a product they really love, they start selling it, and they make a little bit of money that helps them with their child's daycare or with their children's sporting events or music lessons, or maybe a family trip that they have dreamed about taking but have never had that extra money to do it, and don't want to continually going into debt for Christmas, continually going into debt for having vacations. We all need some downtime. We all need some quality family time where we can go out into the world that we live in and explore it a little bit as a family. But many families don't have that extra money to be able to do that. So that's why a lot of people jump in. So you might not be that person who is trying to replace your income or build a multi-million-dollar opportunity, but that does not mean you don't need to learn the skills to at least be rewarded for your efforts in building your business. So I'm going to check over here and see if there's anybody popping in the group live. I don't even really see me live. It's been a few weeks since I it says tomorrow at 6 p.m. Yeah, right. I guess I'm not live today. I have not seen where I'm in my group. Let me get out and get back in. Maybe that's what I need to do. There I am. Okay, so I don't see anybody here right now in the group. And I did put in the chat, we have a group chat for the group, the link for the Zoom. If you wanted to jump in here and hang out with me, you're welcome to do that. Just go to the chat, the group chat, and the link is there. Go to the featured portion of the Facebook group. The link is there. So there's multiple ways for you to be able to join with me live as we continue to read this book. So I really don't want to take too much of your valuable, precious time for your weekend that you maybe Sunday evening is family time, and I don't want to take that time away from you and your family, but you still wanted to participate. So let's just get started so we can get on, right? So we are in chapter 14, crash and burn. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. Robert F. Kennedy. Now, when we're going to look at what Michelle Schaffer talks about for a crash and burn, but a crash and burn doesn't necessarily mean that you failed. It sometimes can happen where the company that the opportunity that you're in was having problems and they had to close their doors. So that interrupts you. I've had that happen. I've had 2 different opportunities that I was in that I absolutely loved. And COVID took one of them. So in 2020, one of the essential oil opportunities that I was in, they had to close their doors because they just couldn't continue, with rising costs. They were very particular about the products they produced for testing and making sure that the products they produced, if it was edible, that it was edible and not harmful. And they ended up closing their doors, and it was like, I've never found another essential oil company that could even come close to the quality of the products that this one produced. The other one was a online shop that I had, and they slowly, actually 3 of them, and they ended up closing their doors. And another one was a jewelry and candles company, and they made their own candles, and they got to where they were not producing a high income for the company to keep it moving forward. And so they sold out to another company. And I chose not to continue in that process for personal reasons. The company that they sold to was not necessarily a US company, so I decided to step away from that one. But those things happen. And then my crash and burn of 2021, I call it, is from my having 5 vertebrae compression fractures during that year that stopped me from doing my work. It stopped me from cleaning my house. It stopped me from doing my laundry. It stopped me from mopping my floors, vacuuming my house, making my bed. So that I couldn't do any of those things, and I was in so much pain that I actually had to step away from my showing up on Facebook Live, showing up in group coaching calls, because the pain was so terribly bad that I had to step away and get healed and have healing for myself. I finally came back in June of this year, 2022 of last year, and I'm back in full force, and I got some wonderful things happening. So I hope that you will take the time to check out my posts, check out the opportunity for the 5-day workshop I'm kicking in January of how to, or creating your business plan specifically for now, for 2023, but it's a process that you can use and start creating and use every year, every quarter, and just increase and improve the process that you're going to create for you, for your business. And I also am launching a mastermind accountability membership group that you can get into for $25 a month, where you can meet with us once a week on Zoom, and accountability, if it's something that you really are serious about for your business, and maybe that's the one thing that you're missing and you're not getting what you need, might be the chance for you to get that stuff going in your business for 2023 so that you can scale in your business. So I'm hoping that you'll look at some of that content that I have available. So over and over in my career, I hear people talk about why they do not succeed or why they cannot succeed. They use a multitude of excuses as to why they simply can't make it happen. Bobby has always said this when it comes to excuses. Any excuse will do. Just pick one. Exactly. So sometimes, that noise in our head, the ego in our head, is giving us thoughts that, well, nobody's going to want to buy your product. You can't get support from your family. They're not going to want to work with you. Why are you talking to them? And you're never going to be successful. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. And you just have to remember that it's your choice. Do you want to listen to that noise, or do you want to move forward? All of the so-called reasons are exactly that. They're excuses. So it doesn't matter which ones you use, although there are many facets to building and growing a successful business in this profession. There is no one who cannot learn and develop the skills required to do so. And that's why I'm presenting this book, is because the skill that is presented in this book are skills that any entrepreneur can learn. But if you are in a network marketing company, it's targeting you for specifics that network marketers usually use, but doesn't mean it can't be molded over into the business that you're building. A large majority of people simply choose not to take the time to learn and develop those skills. Your personality, whether introverted or extroverted, is not a factor. Your background or upbringing, again, is not a factor. Your level of experience or even knowledge is not a factor. There is truly one thing that will determine your activity and your actual ability to build a massive team, and that's you. Really, to know what it is, here goes. Your willingness to be a failure. Now, failure, that's pretty negative, right? Do I want to get into a business just so I can fail? No, I want to get into a business so I can build an income for me and my family. Yeah, there are going to be bumps in the road, of course. Is my car going to die on the way to a meeting? Maybe. Am I not going to have the money for that hotel room or that event that I want to have? Possible, but there's other ways to get around it. You have to be creative. Yep, I know, no one wants to be a failure. No one sets out to look stupid or embarrass themselves. We desire to be good at things and look like we know what we are doing. Winston Churchill said, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. We can filter our photos, touch up our faces, get plastic surgery, modify our bodies. We post images and stories on social media of the highlight reels of our lives. We glorify beauty and people whose lives look good, but put athletes and actors on a pedestal of deity for a status? Yeah, we do that. We watch TV shows about mansions and vacations and lifestyles, and we are truly mesmerized by the appearance of perfection. It is to the degree that many won't even try unless we can do something and do it perfectly. This is an unhealthy outlook in life, and it will kill your chance for success in network marketing. Hey, Fred, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you? Been a while.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for joining me. I'm in the process of reading The Residual Life by Michelle Schaffer. So it's good to
Yeah, I just checked the messages and saw your notes, so I figured, oh well, we'll chime in for a couple of seconds. I'll probably have to go early, but we'll have a listen for a while.
Okay, all righty. So we are in chapter 14, which is the crash and burn of her book. And I'm continuing on. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. We can filter our photos, touch up our faces, get plastic surgery, and modify our bodies. We post images and stories on social media of the highlight reels of our lives. We glorify beauty and people whose lives look good. We put athletes and actors on a pedestal of deity success. We watch TV shows about mansions, vacations, and lifestyles, and we are truly mesmerized by the appearance of perfection. It's to the degree that many won't even try unless we can do something and do it perfectly. This is a very unhealthy outlook in life, and it will kill your chances of success in network marketing. It'll kill your success in any business, actually, as long as you've got that thought in your head. My first ever enroller in my network marketing company was a very cute, very crafty young woman. She could decorate and create beautiful things to look at. The company she was with used the party plan model. She hosted many in-home presentations. She would bring with her crates of decorations and boxes of props to create a beautiful display of products and snacks. It was so much fun. She did a very detailed and fun setup with a presentation that everyone loved. She would receive tons of accolades and compliments for her skills in creating such a fun party. People would say, "Oh, you are so good at this, and I had such a wonderful time. Thank you for inviting me. I could never do what you do." Okay, yeah. Have you ever had that happen when you're doing something like that? That's what many people tell themselves when they really want to be an entrepreneur, but they just don't think they know how to do it. This is not what you want to hear as a leader in this profession. She was so good at the party that people saw the setup and said, "Wow, I could never do that. I don't have the tools or the skills." People didn't want to join her. They didn't want to have to do what she was doing to be successful. This can also happen when we have a very skilled speaker and presenters. People love to listen to them and they enjoy the information the way it's delivered. They sit innocently listening to a fabulous presentation while telling themselves, "Wow, this is great, but I would never be able to do that." Outside of network marketing, these excellent skills are greatly beneficial and can take you far. But in our world of perfection, it sometimes can be a curse. I am an excellent communicator and always have been. I am not afraid to speak in front of people and never seem to run out of things to say. Just ask my very patient husband. I enjoy speaking, teaching, and training others. We do a lot of training online to have high touch with our teams. A few years ago, I was hosting a Saturday morning training online. We used an old antiquated system that required several steps to make it all happen. I had prepared slides and content and was ready to give the team some valuable information. Well, we all know that sometimes technology fails, and sure enough, on that day, anything and everything that could go wrong did, and it all happened in succession. First, I lost the slides. Somehow they disappeared from my screen. Next, my computer decided to start to do an update, so I got kicked off my own training. Because of the older system that we used, I was also using a phone line in addition to my computer. So I was able to tell those who were listening on the phone what was happening. I asked them to type into the chat what was happening to inform the rest of the team that I got kicked off. But once my computer started up again and I got the presentation back up and running, I finished the training. I made several jokes about not needing a lot of skills to build a business and took the opportunity to make fun of myself and the calamity of events that occurred. I was sweating and my heart was beating amazingly fast, but I got through it. Have you ever had that happen to you? How about you, Fred? Have you had a training that you were doing and something like that happened? I know I've had it happen to me. No comment. So here is where the real lesson came. After that training, I received more text messages and emails than I ever had before. Each message was someone telling me how inspired they were by the training. What? I was absolutely shocked. This was clearly the worst one I had ever done. Why did this impact people so much? Each person told me that seeing all the issues that occurred and watching everything fall apart and not work for me inspired them in a big way. They saw that I didn't freak out or give up, but instead, I just kept going. This gave people newfound confidence and a level of belief. If she could do this business and host a training where everything she did failed, but she kept going and did it anyway, maybe I can make this happen too. It was the failure itself that inspired. So when people see someone who isn't perfect pushing forward and going for it, they don't look down on you, but instead you inspire them. And this is the great lie of perfection. We fear being laughed at and talked about if we are not great at something immediately. I was certain my training day disaster would live long in the hall of shame and do something people talked about and scoffed at, but I was so wrong. People were so happy to see the leader fail forward. They watched eagerly waiting to see how I would handle it and what would happen as everything was falling apart. My worst fears were being played out in real time. Nothing was working, and yet it was truly one of the most successful trainings I had ever hosted. I learned so much from this failure. I realized that in my imperfection, other people were empowered. If someone could fail in a big way, keep going and don't let the failures take them out. Anything was possible now. This was a huge turning point for me. I realized that allowing things to be imperfect actually benefited my team. Giving other people permission to be a beginner and to learn as they go is a powerful gift. You can only get good at something when you practice. In network marketing, your practice is how you begin building your team. You are not going to be great at first. You're not going to have all the skills that you will need. And if I'm being totally honest, you are probably going to flat out suck when you first get started. Doesn't it just fire you up to know that when you suck in the beginning and you still make money? How awesome is that? The team that you are building and leading will learn so much from your courage and perseverance to be back before you get good. It takes time. Can you shorten the learning curve? Yes, you can do more presentations, talk to more people, do more three-way calls, and draw out your compensation plan a lot more. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. You won't ever get good if you don't step up and just do it. Bobby has always said, you can't be a permanent student. I am going to age myself a bit here, but stay with me. When I was learning how to drive a car, I learned the manual transmission, a stick shift. My poor dad must have had a whiplash as I jolted him around with every attempt to get my car moving forward. This new skill, moving both feet in opposite directions and at the same time, pushing the stick into the proper placement and watching for traffic being safe, following the laws. Yikes. It wasn't pretty. There was nothing smooth about it. It was rough and jerky. What did my dad do? He made me practice and practice. I would repeatedly have stopped the car and shifted into first gear. I would practice in parking lots, on the driveway, on side streets, in as many places and ways I could to master the skill to do it with ease. Over time, I could shift the car without concentrating. It became more natural and it wasn't as scary. After a few months, it was smoother and it became more automatic. I never thought about it, and I could now talk to people, listen to the radio, and do other things while shifting the car. Practice. It is something you can't shortcut. You certainly must put in the work. That's for sure. The same principles apply in your network marketing business. I'm exceptionally good at presenting my business and my products. Why? Because I've done it several hundred, if not several thousands of times. Trust me, I was not good at it when I first started. I was terrible, but I kept doing it. I built my business when I was limited in my skills. Over time, I got a little better, and I learned from my mistakes. I surrounded myself with people who were way better at it than me. I asked for feedback and worked at getting better. Malcolm Gladwell says that it takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice before you become a master at a skill. I have accumulated way over 10,000 hours in my career so far, and I feel confident in my skills. But I never stop practicing. I will never stop learning and working to improve. Sadly, far too many people delay this process of deliberate practice for fear of not being good enough or for fear of failing and looking stupid. I want to encourage you to pursue fearless failure. Go out and totally blow it. Do a presentation and just completely suck at it. Get the part of your learning and training over as fast as possible. Do it with passion and urgency. People will see what you're doing and they will respond. And here are 2 common responses to your terrible presenting skills. Response number 1. Oh my gosh, that was awful. I cannot believe how bad that was. I could do so much better. Yes, this is a wonderful response. If the people you are speaking to or presenting for think these thoughts, you have won. They think you can do this better than you. You have eliminated the fear that they are not going to be good, and this is a win. Response number 2. Oh, wow, that was bad. Geez, if he/she can do this, I can too. Yes, again, this is an excellent response for you. You want people to believe this business is something they can build. Your lack of skill can be something that works in your favor. So stop being afraid to fail. Eloise Rezad said, when we give ourselves permission to fail, we at the same time give ourselves permission to excel. Be deliberate about developing your skills. Don't be scared to be bad so that you can be good. You must stick with a new skill long enough to make it automatic. Practice makes perfect. Don't get caught up in the curse of perfectionism. There is no such thing as perfect anyway. Your ability to feel fear and do it anyway is what counts. Your willingness to walk toward failure is what will lead you to success. Allow yourself the time it takes to get better and allow others to watch. What? Yes, I said that. I said that. You want people to watch. So watch what I said. Your journey and actions will inspire your team also to take action. Watching you grow and develop skills gives them the confidence to do the same thing themselves. Your experience will give you the confidence to lead your team, encourage them, jump into action, and develop their skills. So I want to add this one last thing in this chapter. Being married to an introvert and giving birth to a few of them, I have seen how they respond to life. For Bobby, one of the worst experiences he can have is when he appears to be less than perfect. He avoids it at all costs. Starting conversations with people he doesn't know and speaking publicly is not naturally comfortable for him. The very things it takes to grow a massive business go against his nature and personal comfort levels. But his desire to create a life of leverage and enjoy the residual life was bigger than his need to feel comfortable. It was bigger than his need to look perfect all the time. Although he usually still does he has developed incredible skills, and most people don't think of him as the typical introverted personality type. He grew and stretched beyond his comfort zone to allow himself to master the skills he needed. Your personality is only a hindrance if you believe it is. Your background is only as negative if you believe it is. You can only be held back by these invisible limitations you have created if you give life to them. They have no power over your destiny unless you give them power. I believe in you. Your family deserves it, and you deserve it. Sprint fearlessly toward failure as if your life depends on it. Allow yourself to crash and burn, and I promise you, it won't kill you. It will burn off lies and limited thinking while birthing in you exactly what you need to get you to the next level. Pursue fearless failure. So maybe write that on a card. If you tend to not want to do Facebook Live or do video for fear, hang that up and say, pursue fearless failure. And I say, let's see, what action step can I take today that I might fail at? And just go for it because you're worth it. You're worthy. And if you've got that burning desire within your heart to build this business that you're working on, you will only succeed as you struggle through, as you build your skill level, as you get to know yourself better and build your self-confidence and grow your mental attitude, your mindset. That's why the network marketing industry is the top industry for self-development. That's the number one thing that they focus on is self-development. You can get into a direct sales company, sure, but they don't push self-development as much as a network marketing company does or an MLM. So if you've had that experience, but you've not taken the time to do the lessons, to take the courses, to read the books, Think and Grow Rich, there's so many good books out there that a beginner needs to be reading to help them to get their mind at that level where they can be successful in their online business or even a brick and mortar business. You have to have that mental attitude. So thanks for being here with me today, you guys. I appreciate you. And I'll be back next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We will be reading the next chapter, which is chapter 14, no, chapter 15, leadership. Next week is leadership. And then we have, that's the last one. Next week is leadership. We'll be finishing out our process next week, chapter 15. And there, I'll just probably come in and do just a Facebook Live of closing thoughts concerning the book, and not necessarily, do it live in the group. But thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. I hope that your 2023 is kicking off with high energy. So let's figure out a way to keep you in that high energy level throughout the entire 12 months of this year, so you don't get burned out, so you don't get frustrated, and you don't feel like it's too hard. It's not hard unless you choose to make it that way. And when you start feeling down, you start feeling burned out, you've got to take self-time. You've got to take time for yourself and just take a day, step away, clear out your mind, and just dig in again the next day. So Coach Marjean here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. Love ya. Mwah, mwah.